Project Hail Mary hits theaters soon, featuring Ryan Gosling stranded alone in space. How dare you, sir? That is Matt Damon's job. This video is brought to you by AG1. Go to drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell to get a special offer, and stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell here with my review of Project Hail Mary. Now the movie doesn't come out until next week, but the review embargo lifted today, a week and a half before release. Now this usually means that a studio either has a lot of confidence in a film or, to quote Joe Bluth, they've made a huge mistake. And with a $200 million budget on the line, this is kind of a high-stakes move for Amazon MGM to make, but I suspect that it just might pay off. Project Hail Mary is directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. They've been busy producing and or writing films like the Spider-Verse movies and the Mitchells vs. the Machines, but this is their first project as directors since 22 Jump Street back in 2014. It's based on the novel by Andy Weir, who also wrote the book The Martian, with a screenplay from Drew Goddard, who also wrote the movie The Martian. Ryan Gosling stars as Dr. Ryland Grace, which is an objectively good character name, a scientist turned high school teacher who's enlisted to help save the world when a mysterious force begins draining our sun of its energy. Somehow he finds himself alone in space on a mission to study a star light years away that's the only one nearby unaffected by this crisis. Grace spends his time trying to figure out how to save the planet while also piecing together his memories to figure out how he ended up alone on the ship and what he can do to rescue humanity. Sandra Hüller, who was amazing in Anatomy of a Fall, plays Eva Stratt, the head of Project Hail Mary and Grace's handler. Now, there are other elements to the story that have been amply spoiled in trailers and promotional materials, and I usually use that as leeway to talk about those things in my review, but on the off chance that you don't know about these things, then I'm not going to specifically say who Grace eventually teams up with to help solve this mystery. I will say that it is a dynamic that is crucial to the film, and I think really, really works. It is full of heart and a lot of humor. Project Hail Mary is a sci-fi film, but it feels a lot more like the genre movies of my childhood, back when genres were sort of general labels for movies that featured universal elements, namely a good story and likable characters. I think this is a sci-fi movie in the same way that E.T. is a sci-fi movie, or in the same way that Die Hard is an action movie. It goes beyond the label. Most of all, Project Hail Mary is deeply rooted in emotion and anchored by a fantastic performance from Ryan Gosling. Now, I know it's not exactly news that Ryan Gosling is a good actor, but I think it's worth underscoring that he is a really good actor. I think that because he chooses so many different kinds of projects and he doesn't work as often as a lot of other actors, that he's still a little underrated. But if you go back and look at his filmography, it's hard to argue with either his choices or his performances, even in movies that might have been a bit of a disappointment otherwise. I mean, The Fall Guy was a box office disappointment, but I think that Ryan Gosling was really good in it. He was really good in Barbie and La La Land and Blade Runner 2049 and First Man and Drive and all of these movies where his performance was a part of what made those movies connect with the audiences, but might have been overshadowed by other elements. Here, though, Gosling gets the spotlight for most of the movie. Like Matt Damon's performance in The Martian, Gosling's performance in Project Hail Mary is the key to the entire film, and he delivers. I mean, I would estimate that he is the only human being on screen for 70% or more of this movie. He is an actor who is both comedically and dramatically gifted, and both are on display here. This is not the kind of performance that's likely to garner awards attention, both because this is a big-budget sci-fi movie and because of the movie's release date, but I doubt if there are going to be many more performances this year that are as vital to the success of the entire movie as Gosling's performance in this film. The screenplay from Drew Goddard is also sharp. This is his first feature screenplay since 2018's Bad Times at the El Royale, and his previous film before that was The Martian. Now, I haven't read Project Hail Mary, but I have read The Martian, and I was impressed in that film at how Goddard was able to preserve the humanity and how he crafted a movie out of Andy Weir's densely scientific text. It was still a good book, and I suspect that he did the same here. Goddard's script is in good hands with Lord and Miller, who continue to show a gift for taking something big like Legos or Spider-Man or a space adventure and crafting funny, intimate movies around those concepts. This is also an incredibly well-made film featuring cinematography from Oscar winner Greg Fraser, who shot Dune Part 1 and Part 2 and also helped to spearhead development of the volume, which is the big digital background that they use in place of green screen in movies like The Batman and shows like The Mandalorian. I think it explains why so much of this movie feels real, even though digital green screen and the volume are just two different ways of doing visual effects. And there are some key special effects that are not done with computers at all, but in camera. And I think that it still would have worked digitally, but because these effects are so crucial to the core dynamic at the heart of the film, it's nice to see them done, quote unquote, the old way. Digital effects are great, don't get me wrong, but I think that you can tell a difference, even subconsciously. And choosing to do so much practically proves that Lord and Miller were invested in the humanity of this movie first, not the spectacle or the ease of making it. The production design is from Charles Wood, who's a veteran of Marvel films like Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers Endgame, and the music is from Daniel Pemberton. Now, I've really enjoyed Daniel Pemberton's scores in other films, particularly the Spider-Verse movies, but his score for this one is outstanding. I think it is worthy of modern space epics like Interstellar. Project Hail Mary is 90% of a great movie. It's damn near a home run. The only thing that holds it back is that at 2.5 hours, it's a little too long for the story it's telling. The third act, I think, has one beat too many and asks the audience to hit the emotional climax of the film twice. And I wish that Drew Goddard had chosen one beat or the other for the film. It might have worked in the book, but it adds some unnecessary length to the movie. The nonlinear narrative also at times interrupts the flow of the movie. I ultimately understood why the story had to be told that way, but the balance does feel off sometimes. Otherwise, Project Hail Mary is a funny, emotional, well-acted space adventure that feels like a movie, the kind you don't see as much of anymore, that reaches out to everybody, doesn't throw up any kind of genre walls to audience enjoyment, and just wants you to sit back and have a great time. And it's so well made at such a big scale and with so many laughs that it's also a great reminder of how special the theatrical movie-going experience can be. A lot of this movie was filmed for IMAX. It does look great on an IMAX screen, but I don't think it's essential to see it in IMAX in order to get the full impact of the movie. I think a regular, less expensive movie theater will do just fine as well. I had a great time with this movie, and while I can't give it my most enthusiastic endorsement, it works so well for so much of its runtime that I'm bumping it up into low-grade see it now territory. I think that this is a real crowd pleaser that a lot of people are going to love, and hopefully it will spark some of that joy, that movie magic for a lot of people. It is a great movie to anchor this first part of the year, and I hope it finds the audience it deserves. So those are my thoughts on Project Hail Mary. As I mentioned, it'll be hitting theaters here in the United States and elsewhere next Friday. What do you think? Does this get you more excited for the film? Where are you going to see it anyway? Let me know down in the comments below. And before we go, I'm going to thank the sponsor for this video, AG1. As we head into March, a lot of people are hitting the road for spring break, but that doesn't mean you have to take a break from doing what's good for your body with AG1, which provides an easy way to stay on track with their travel packs. AG1 is a daily drink clinically shown to support gut health and fill in nutrient gaps with over 75 ingredients, replacing the need for a daily multivitamin, probiotic, and more. I have spent, and I totaled this up yesterday, 45 of the last 76 days away from home, but AG1 and AG1 travel packs have helped me keep my morning routine of drinking AG1 intact. And you know what? A little consistency isn't a bad thing. AG1 simplifies your nutrition with a multivitamin, pre- and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants all in one scoop. And AG1 delivers daily immune support, which is always a good thing when you're on the go. This is the perfect time to go into the spring and summer feeling your best as we all get ready to emerge from our winter cocoons and head out into the sun. Go to drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell right now to get an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 for free in your AG1 welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription order, only while supplies last. That's drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell, drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell. Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here. Later on this morning, I'll have this week's episode of Charts with Dan. I'll have my live show tomorrow afternoon. And of course, we are in Oscars week, so I'll have my Oscar predictions later this week. And then early next Monday morning, I'll have my recap of the Academy Awards, plus the latest breaking news and whatever else might happen. Thanks so much for watching this review. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.